What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the report. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are here. We are back with a brand new video for you guys. And listen, we're going to be talking about some of the things we have been seeing from the Miami Heat in preseason so far. I wanted to do more of like a, cumulative analysis of some of the preseason games that we have played so far. You know, last one against the Pelicans was more of a, fully healthy roster minus Jay Rich, who's still out with his shoulder injury. But listen, we're going to be talking about, exactly what we've been seeing, some of the small things that I have kind of found that I wanted to, point out to you guys so you guys don't miss them. So particularly in the last preseason game, we did see the iteration of the starting lineup that is going to be probably the starting lineup for most of the year, which is, who is it? Jimmy, Terry, Tyler, Bam, Jovic. That's probably going to be the starting lineup. It's looking like it. I know we do play another one tonight against San Antonio, at 7:30 or something like that. I think that is also going to tell us something. I'm not sure who's going to play for that game or not. But listen, the starting lineup looked pretty good. I mean, it had its ups and downs. There was a couple of things that I liked. The offense, I was worried about the backcourt and how it would fit together. But, I mean, they have shown in one game that they do have what it takes to be able to cohesively fit offensively. You're obviously going to have Tyler buy into more of a off the ball, playing off the catch type role. And then Terry's going to be the one with the ball in his hands and taking the tough shots and creating as a point guard. So I did like how that fit. The Pelicans are still a good team. We played a pretty good team in the Pelicans. I know they were missing Brandon Ingram, but they're still a pretty good team. So this was against a playoff caliber team who was playing their most of their rotation. So the starting lineup looked pretty solid. It looked pretty solid. I was pretty encouraged by what I saw from the Tyler Terry backcourt. I think Jimmy was Jimmy. Jovic, he's going to have to start knocking down that three ball. He was pretty off from three. But I do like the looks he's getting, and I like his activity, what he's doing, as a screener and as a offensive player who can also kind of bring the ball up the floor if he needs to. And then Bam is Bam. So obviously, what you're going to get from Jimmy and Bam. Those two have been really good. I do like the abundance of Jimmy, Terry pick and roll action. I think that's going to be pretty good. You got to kind of pick your poison with that one. You can go under if you want to, because Jimmy's not a prolific three-point shooter. But I will say that, especially if Terry's the one with the ball in his hands, it's very difficult for you to kind of figure out what to do if those two are the people who are with the ball in their hands, because they're going to be creating most of the shots. I thought Tyler played a very mature game. We're going to have to see if he does this consistently throughout the year, but it was a pretty good game for Tyler. It was his first preseason game, and I thought he played a pretty good game. He was active defensively, and I thought that was a very big key. He was very active defensively. He caused some turnovers. He had a couple of steals. He's definitely put on some muscle. I think that's definitely helped him, and the shot release looks quicker, which is, I think, very, very helpful, because obviously he's going to be playing more off of the catch this year. He's not going to have the ball in his hands as much playing as a creator. He's going to be, and obviously he'll have his moments when he can do that, but primarily his role will be to be a spacer and a player who can attack off the catch or shoot off the catch, and playing more off the ball. So it's pretty imperative that he has a quick release, so that whenever he's playing off the catch, and if he wants to especially catch and shoot, his shot won't get contested or blocked easily. He'll have a pretty good window to get his shot off. So I really do think that that is going to be very good for Tyler. I'm very high on him coming into this season. I had my skepticism and doubts regarding whether he was going to be bought into that role, but he seems to be. And obviously he's working the offseason on speeding up his shot release and adding some more muscle. I think that's definitely helped him a little bit as well. So yeah, encouraged by Tyler. I think Terry, Terry has looked good. Like, he's played every preseason game so far. I think he's looked good in every preseason game. I'm not gonna lie. He's been looking really, really good. I think he's been looking pretty explosive. Not in like the dunking on you way, but as far as explosive, I mean, like, he's able to get to the rim pretty easily. And I think that neck injury is pretty much behind him, I would like to say. So I'm very excited about his season. I feel like if he is locked in and if he's playing the way he's capable of playing, you just get a whole new dimension that you've missed. Like, I have not seen. I mean, it's been like, I remember like the first basket of the Pelicans game. I think it was a layup by Terry or something like that. And it was like, bro, I have not seen a Heat player just like drive down and finish, a contested layup or drive and weave through defenders and finish at the rim like that easily since a long time, since probably like Dragic left his prime back in 2020. Since then, like, nobody has come in and like replaced that void of somebody who will constantly just put pressure on the rim. And Jimmy's capable of doing it, but Jimmy likes to pick his spots and he likes to shoot the mid-range jump shot at times. And he's not like the fastest. He's obviously very crafty, but it doesn't look like, Jimmy's just getting to the rim at will. It does obviously, but it doesn't look like he's doing it at the pace that Terry is. Terry's just, he's so fast with the ball in his hands. He's just able to just speed to the rim. And it's like, we've been missing that for so long. Like, Kyle Lowry never did that. Dragic, after like that bubble year where he had his injury, he was never the same. And then before that, it was probably just D Wade. So listen, like, Terry really adds that dynamic that we have not had in so long. So I think that's going to be really good for this offense. Like, when you have a guy who will constantly be a threat to just put pressure on the rim, and be a guy who can, at the point guard position, you have to make a decision if you're the opposing team, because the opposing point guard is running at you full speed. He's on the verge of finishing at the rim. If you're the help defender, you can either commit and help block the shot, but then you're leaving the center. So it allows Terry to feed Bam if the opposing center helps. And it's like, you just have so many different options when you have a guy who can consistently get to the rim. And we really lacked that last season, which is why our offense was really just like standing around, give the ball to Jimmy, set a screen, dribble handoff here or there. Like, it wasn't as well versed and didn't have as many layers as this year's offense does. So that's something to be excited about. I also do like that there's a lot of weak side action going on. So like, whenever there's players who are on the strong side, and whenever they're in some sort of action, when they're running a play, setting screens for each other, there's always some activity going on the weak side as well. So this allows for basically not all 5 players to just stand and watch during the offensive possessions. So it's like, you don't have if 2 players are involved, 3 players won't just be standing around. You're gonna have movement. You're gonna have some cutting. You're gonna have some weak side pick and roll, inverted pick and roll, like some screen action over there. Like, there's so many different things that this offense can actually do this year, and it's like so refreshing to see, because we have never had that luxury. And honestly, like, we didn't really have the personnel. Like, this year we have a healthy Jimmy, we have a healthy Tyler, we have Terry Rozier fully healthy, we have Bam Adebayo, who's a 3-point shot threat this year. So you have to pick your poison on him. And this allows for some 5-out offense as well. Like, you can have all 5 players play on the perimeter. You don't need to have people in the paint. All 5 in the perimeter. You have a couple of guys who'll get to the rim. You set screens. You cannot, go under the screen of Bam Adebayo has the ball. You cannot drop. You cannot overly help. You have to respect his jump shot. And listen, that just allows the center to be dragged out, and you have even more of an opportunity to get to the rim without the big man there. So again, very excited and intrigued about the offense. Do I think they're going to suddenly become like a top 5 offense? No, I don't think so. I think they'll be a good offense. I don't know about top 5. There's a lot of very good offenses, like the Pacers, the Celtics, the Thunder. Like, a lot of these teams will have good offenses. So it's very difficult to be top 5 in this league, but I think they could be top 10, maybe even top 15, because last year they were bottom 5. So if they're top 15, that is a massive improvement. I would want them to be a top 15 offense. And I think even the defense can stay at that level that they've always been. They've always been a top 5 defense. That's always been their calling card. And listen, the defense has been pretty good. I mean, it's always going to be good if you're the Heat. Like, Spo's are probably the best defensive coach of all time. Like, he's amazing defensively. Offensively, there's some stuff where I'm like, he probably could do better here or there. But defensively, there's no question marks I have about Spo's defensive game plan. I think he's even turned Jovic into solid defenders. Jovic and Tyler into solid defenders. You know, I was pretty concerned about Terry and Tyler, but they look active, especially Tyler. You know, being like an off the ball pest will really help his reputation as a defender. So excited about the defensive upside of the team as well. Now the second unit is where I seem to, have some problems, because I don't know if Drew Smith is going to be like a backup point guard throughout the year, but I don't really want to see it. Now people are going to be like, well, Drew Smith just plays steady. He plays hard. He's good defensively. He can run an offense. And while all that may be true, he just does not have any offensive upside to his game at all. At all. Teams can easily just ignore him. He can just be like we can literally be playing 4-on-5 offensively. And the reason I'm talking about the offense is that no matter who you put there, whether it's Josh Richardson, this may just be a placeholder for Josh Richardson until he's back, but I would definitely more rather Alec Burks start at that backup PG position than Drew Smith. Because although you're probably not going to get the same defensively with Alec Burks, the Miami Heat are always going to be a good team defense regardless of who is at the backup point guard position. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm really worried about off your bench. Alec Burks is a veteran presence. He's been on good teams. He's been on contending teams. He's going to be able to run your offense. He's going to be able to shoot the ball. He's going to be able to do a lot of different things. Now, Drew Smith, although he can do some of the things that Alec Burks can do with running an offense, and he's probably a better defender, I just don't see it offensively with him. So I'm not a huge fan of him getting those minutes. I'm not gonna lie. He was okay. And he's definitely worked on his game a little bit. But again, offensively, especially, he's not able to shoot the ball. Like, it's very difficult if you're a backup point guard and you can't really shoot or score offensively. It's like, what are you really in the game for? Well, is it your defense? Because we have surrounded Drew Smith, with some pretty good defenders in the second unit. Haywood Highsmith, Jaime Jaquez, these guys can really guard. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him starting, or not starting, being the backup point guard. And I have seen some people talking about Kel'el Ware now. Kel'el Ware, listen, I know a lot of people want him to play, myself included, but he's just not ready. I think we have to just kind of accept that. He's just not ready right now. I don't know if you guys probably saw the clip of Spo just going crazy on him, and he probably does that. But he probably does that to everybody. There's always a moment where Spo is just yelling at somebody. But the thing about Kel'el Ware that really worries me to his game is really just his positioning. I feel like he has great instincts. I feel like he has great athleticism, great tools. His touch is really nice. I feel like all the skill part of his game, he's definitely a lot more of a skilled player than Thomas Bryant and probably Kevin Love. And in this I guess day and age where Kevin Love is getting down to the end of his career, but it's not just about skill. The thing that Kevin Love and Thomas Bryant both provide that Kel'el Ware has not. And I've watched Kel'el Ware since high school. I've watched him at Oregon. I watched him where he struggled at Oregon, and then he had to transfer to Indiana. I watched him flourish at Indiana, and then I watched him in summer league. I watched him in preseason. I've been watching Kel'el Ware for years now. And he's always had the same issue of the motor and the defensive IQ with his positioning. I feel like defensively, he's an incredible shot blocker. He's a really, really good shot blocker. But it's not just enough to be a shot blocker. We saw that with Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside was an incredible shot blocker, but when it was time to be a good team defender, he really struggled with that. And Kel'el Ware is only a rookie. The good thing is he has so many of these tools, and he's working under probably the best development team in the whole NBA. So I think he should go to Sioux Falls. I think he should, play more. I think he should get more reps. He's not going to get many minutes this season. He's not, which is fine. He's not ready to be like a championship on a championship contending team playing big minutes yet. So we could throw him into the fire, or we could be patient with him. We could let him work on his deficiencies. We could get him up to speed with how the NBA it really is. I think Kel'el Ware, I have nothing bad to say about Kel'el Ware. I think he's an incredible prospect, and I think he's offensively super gifted. I think people compare him to Derek Lively. I think he's a better offensive prospect than Derek Lively. I really do, because he can shoot the three ball. I think offensively he's really, really skilled. And I think defensively as a shot blocker, it really works with him. But the thing that Derek Lively and some of these other people have over Khalil Ware is that defensive IQ and positioning and the motor. I feel like if he works on this part of his game, which I think he'll have the opportunity to if he's in Sioux Falls playing for the G League, then you can have Khalil Ware next year be full-time primed to be ready to be backup center. I think the reason they had signed Thomas Bryant and Kevin Love both was because, they were probably not going to be banking on Khalil Ware much this season. So I know a lot of people are excited. He's like the shiny new toy. Of course, it's like the syndrome. Whenever we get like a new player, like people just want to see him play. They want to see what he can do. And I really understand that. I'm not saying any of you guys are wrong for wanting to see him play. Even I want to see him play. But the smartest thing to do would be to just let him develop in the G League. Like, work on his game. Like, work with the developmental staff. Fix those deficiencies that I just talked about. I think he'll be ready next year. I mean, we've seen players be picked higher and not play. Like Jarris Walker last year didn't play a single minute of prime rotation time with the Pacers, and he was a 7th overall pick. We've seen people just not play in their rookie seasons because they need some time, and it's fine if you need time. You don't have to be ready right away. He just needs some time. He'll be fine. He'll be a really good player. It's just let him work on the parts of his game. Skill-wise, he's incredibly skilled, and he's incredibly talented. He can do a lot of different things, which is why we picked him. But it takes more than that if you want to be a contributor on a championship team. Now, who I think will be a contributor from possibly day one is Pelle Larsson. And Pelle Larsson to me is an incredible plug-and-play player. I feel like Pelle Larsson is a player that will just make zero mistakes. That's what you're going to get. I've watched Pelle Larsson for a while as well. He was one of the veterans at Arizona last year. He's an incredible, like I said, plug and play glue guy. Like, he'll do all the little things for you. He can shoot the ball. He's a gritty defender. He is undersized, but he's gritty defensively, especially when he's guarding guards. I think he'll be fine. People probably don't think he's an incredible defender, but I do think he can guard. He can definitely guard. I think his passing is solid. I think his his athleticism is underrated. I mean, he can definitely jump really high. Like, Pelle Larsson will dunk on you. He's super athletic. He may not show it, and he probably hasn't showed it too many times, but he will dunk. He will dunk on you, man. He reminds me of Jaime Jaquez in the way that Jaime Jaquez surprised a lot of people last season, and obviously their games are very different. Pelle Larsson more being of a jump shot, jump shooter, whereas Jaime Jaquez was more of kind of like a low post footwork type player. But I'm talking about their impacts. I'm talking about their ability to just be a plug and play player. Pelle Larsson has that from day one, and his confidence is unmatched. He fits the vibe of the Heat already. He's just a winner, and I think he'll be a guy that Jimmy just absolutely loves. He's just a winning player. He's just a winning player from day one, and he gets it. He knows exactly what it takes to win. He is very, very, very good as a guy who can just be a plug and play player on a winning team, and that's what he's been his whole time at Arizona, and he'll be that for the Heat. So I'm super excited. I was very excited about the pick at 44. I'm super excited to see if he'll even get minutes, but I think he will. I definitely think Pelle Larsson will get some time this year. It might not be more than 15, 20 minutes a game, but I think that's enough. So Pelle Larsson, super excited for. That's about it. I mean, Jaime Jaquez, I didn't talk about him much. I'm excited about his development too. I think he'll have a pretty good year too. I think the backup second unit is basically just in his hands offensively. Like, he's going to be the primary option off the bench. So if he can really just take that jump with his jump shot, I think he can definitely, become that primary scorer off the bench and become like a 6 man of the year candidate, dare I say. So excited about him. Haywood Highsmith looks to be pretty good with his ability to put the ball on the floor a little bit. I think he's worked on that part of his game. Thomas Bryant and Kevin Love, while they may not be like the most athletically gifted anymore, I feel like their positioning is always fine, especially Kevin Love. Kevin Love is a very like high IQ player, as we all know, can shoot the ball still. I would prefer K Love in the second unit rather than Thomas Bryant. I think Thomas Bryant is still, his positioning is not as good as Kevin Love's. Kevin Love is a champion. He knows what it takes to win. He's a winning player. He provides good energy to the team. So I would much rather have Kevin Love be the backup center over Thomas Bryant for now, but Thomas Bryant can definitely split some minutes with him while Khalil Ware develops in the G League. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the roster. Let me know what you guys think, man. I know a lot of people might disagree about what my stance is on Khalil Ware. I just think he should develop a little bit in the G League before playing. I don't think he's really ready right now, which is fine. You don't have to be. You can be, working on your game. You can be ready for next year. That's really the goal for me for him. It's like, if we need him, he'll be available, but he should not be dependent on to play big minutes this season. He's definitely not ready for that, especially if you're playing for a championship contender or a team that wants to be a championship contender. I don't think he's the guy that is the answer at the backup center position right now. So, super skilled prospect though. Super excited to watch him develop. And super excited to watch this team as a whole. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what I just said about everybody on this team. And I'll see y'all later as always, man. Have a nice day. Peace.